I'm trying to build the best possible Lego boat for this Captain minifigure to sail in our Lego city called 23. So I'm gonna build and test 100 other boats and see what I can learn from the successes and the failures. Here's a closer look at our captain before we set sail, with a comments named Edward, or Ed for short. Obviously, the best part is his new boat costume piece, similar to the other vehicles Lego's done in the past, but even Ed by himself is still quite fancy. He deserves the most prestigious ship to call home. And this thing, while technically able to float, isn't quite good enough for Ed. So today I'll be building up a fleet of both official and custom Lego boats, testing if all 100 float or sink in our bathtub here, and using the data we collect to craft Ed the most seaworthy vessel possible. These first boats here are literally made with one piece. You got your classic rowboat design in a couple different colors with slots for oars and studs in the bottom to add minifigures and a tiny bit more detail.
All right, here we go. Yeah, 2 out of 3.
My favorite boat mold is this rubber raft with studs on the side to attach different calibers of engines on.
Wonderful.
There's also bigger rafts with a lot more space to decorate. This canoe from the Lone Ranger.
Rip.
And even a kayak spelled backwards. But these bigger hulls that come in a lot of Lego City sets use twice the amount of pieces, as in 2. They still float okay, but if anything goes wrong, our biggest preformed hull can be built into a fireboat that comes to the rescue. Well, we've confirmed that Lego is not lying when they say that these boats can float on the box, for the most part. So for Ed's boat, we want to go for a similar shaped base as the preformed hulls, or a boogie board apparently, to hopefully allow it to float as well when we test it at the end of the video. Some boats, on the other hand, have to have disclaimers on the box that they can't float. I don't know why they would lie about that, but we should probably test a few of them anyway. Unfortunately, I don't own the Steamboat Willie set, so I built a miniature version of the iconic animation instead, complete with Mickey Mouse himself. And even though it probably floats just as well as the original set,
Oh, Mickey.
I'm really happy with all the detail I crammed in at such a small scale. So I miniaturized some other iconic Lego ships, like the Destiny's Bounty from Ninjago,
Oh,
the Shield helicarrier from the Avengers,
you'll love to see it.
and even though it's not technically a boat, Jabba's sail barge from Star Wars.
It kind of works.
All these turned out great looking, maybe not functioning. And again, show how you can accomplish so much detail just by using smaller pieces. So instead of using all the same piece as we begin to slope up the hull of Ed's boat, I decided to combine some smaller parts together to give the sides a lot more depth. Just look at the difference that makes. And rather than using one giant boring piece for the front, I painstakingly sculpted this custom bow design instead. Don't know about you, but all these techniques of using studs on the side for a red rounded shape remind me of a certain mushroom I built not too long ago. But now it's time to jump on into the Mushroom Kingdom and build some boats from popular video games, like this Bowser's airship I made using the flags from the Lego Mario sets. We've also got the King of Red Lions from Zelda Twilight Princess using these banana pieces as horns. Speaking of which, here's a banana boat. But then there's the Rusty Bucket Bay ship from Banjo-Kazooie. And I crafted 5 planks into an oak boat from Minecraft. Or at least that used to be the recipe. I don't know why this isn't working. But I also made each of the different wood types into boats, including the new bamboo raft from 1.20.
Great stuff.
And finally, I Legoified the 5 different boats from Battleship. These candlestick pieces even look identical to the pegs in the game. And even though we're not looking the greatest in terms of success here, I really enjoyed finding creative new uses for different pieces. So for the back of Ed's boat, I challenged myself to use what's normally a car door piece stacked on top of each other to make a rudder. And I think it turned out pretty cool. But as long as we're just referencing random boats in media, I also built the SS Minnow from Gilligan's Island, the weird little raft thing from Life of Pi.
There we go.
I couldn't fit the questionably PG Creator Tiger set on here, so we've just got this baby one instead. And the buoyancy operated aquatic transport from Phineas and Ferb, complete with Dr. Doofenshmirtz and a platypus? Patty the platypus!
Oh, no.
These are all different shows and movies that made Ed dream about sailing the world as a kid, before his life took a different turn. But now we get to help him finally live out that fantasy with this. One thing I noticed with these boats in particular is that the scale is really wonky. The Tiger is too small, the steering wheel is ginormous, and I really try my best with the Boat lettering here, but these show how important getting the scale right is. So for Ed's boat, which I'm mostly basing off a modified version of his costume, we really need to start on the black layer in order to get the scale right. I don't have a ton of black detail pieces anymore, I can't imagine why that would be. So I mostly just smoothed off the walls using tiles and left it at that. I have no idea what I'm doing with the shaping of the front yet, but the colors of this thing remind me of another Lego boat set. So for now, let's work on building this thing instead. At 9,090 pieces, the Lego Titanic is the second largest set to ever be released. It took me over 14 hours to build it on stream. Thanks to everyone who tuned in for that, by the way. It was really fun. But this thing is massive. It dwarfs Ed's costume, dwarfs the boat we're building, dwarfs a dwarf, and it's literally longer than our entire city table by quite a bit. Fortunately, it doesn't fit in my bathtub either, so I don't have to put it in there and recreate the tragedy of it sinking. But I want to recreate something, so I built this iconic scene from the Titanic movie, and this one. Now we've got a beautiful new meme template. This is Jack, by the way, a poor passenger from down in the bottom of the ship, and Rose, a rich passenger from the top of the ship. I know it sounds awful, but that's the thing we're carrying over to our model, but hear me out, okay? Some old friends of Ed have fallen on hard times, so he's generously letting them live free of charge down in the cargo bay of the ship. There are so many incredible details in this set that I probably should have borrowed from instead, but one of my favorites is the American flag. I mean, the British ones are cool too, but the American flag is where it's at. I used it to recreate this crossing of the Delaware boat, and since it's almost Thanksgiving, we've also got the Mayflower and a gravy boat.
I gotta wash this now.
But there's a ton of cool boats from all over the world, like this gondola from Venice, Italy, Ever Given cargo ship from the Suez Canal in Egypt, traditional Chinese dragon boat for Dominic, Evan, Drex, and Skylar to ride,
Great suggestions.
and a Wa Kaulua from the Polynesian islands that were featured in Moana. With these ones, I really appreciated learning more about different cultures and their unique styles of boats, even if they didn't fare too well. Like, did you know that French shipbuilder James Baker invented portholes in 1485?
Okay, that was a stretch.
But I added some decorative portholes on either side, like Ed's costume. To procrastinate building the front even more, I went on Instagram and asked for your suggestions for boats to test, and we've got the Hogwarts Express, a mini Black Pearl with mini Jack Sparrow, the Dawn Treader from Narnia. I don't have the Lego Movie Sea Cow, but I do have the double-decker couch. The Titanic sister ships, the Britannic and Olympic. I like the way you think. Still not testing them though. And Noah's Ark. It's not big enough to hold any animals. Rip all the animals. So I just added a dove and a rainbow.
Mine could not survive 40 days of this.
I also got this response from the official Elf on the Shelf account. I was very confused, but apparently they're challenging us to a sub race. I do not want to find out what happens if we lose, so if you're enjoying the video, please consider subscribing. Thank you. But to get the final boost of inspiration I needed to finish the bow, I studied this Batman boat. Just look at the craftsmanship here.
Bat boat!
There's also a bat raft.
Bat raft!
I'm definitely counting this bat duck floaty.
Bat floaty!
And then just a duck.
There's a duck!
This is an odd assortment, but it taught me that branding is everything. I mean, this Narcissus logo is everywhere. I needed to finally build the front of the ship so I could stick on the logo of Ed's company, King Cruise Lines. Great brand. And downstairs, this bat duck floaty inspired me to add a pool for all the kids in the cruise to hang out in, along with some greenery. Now all that's left is the deck, some final details, and we've still got 42 boats to test before this one, so let's speed run through the next batch. Sailboat, bumper boat, leaf boat, brick separator boat, race car bed boat, bathtub boat,
This is Tubception.
pirate boat, ziplash boat, straw boat, stick boat, brick boat. You know, we could probably store these materials on Ed's boat. This is a really cool tugboat set made with different hull sections that we can shrink into a chibi tugboat. And finally, a Tunnel of Love swan boat. Yeah, in your dreams, Cornelius. But wow, this is a lot of carnage. So anyways, I built the removable deck of Ed's boat with a gap for the staircase downstairs. It's currently very unsafe, so we need to call in the Lego Agents. An iconic theme from 2008 with cool vehicles, including boats, for a team of secret agents and the villains they try to defeat. But the biggest threat to both sides is actually Phil Swift.
I sawed this boat in half!
That's why the takeaway here is to use Flex Seal. No, actually it's to plan ahead and have lifeboats to escape with. Something the Titanic didn't have enough of. Wait a second.
This definitely counts.
I modified this jet ski design as the lifeboats for Ed's crew, except one's already missing somehow, so that's great. Some Lego police sets feature the criminals trying to escape in crates or even tires, so we've got different sizes of them to test. Okay, maybe don't take seafaring advice from an escaped convict, but we can use these things as actual storage containers on Ed's boat instead. Finally, we've got some railings so you don't fall overboard, smokestacks from Ed's costume, a steering wheel in the back, and some more passengers scattered around the deck. This is actually Ed's first cruise after losing his last job, and he's doing pretty well so far. But they do need to turn around now and make a second stop at 23ville's port after forgetting something their last time. After we finally test this thing, I've noticed the problem with most of the failed boats hasn't been that they outright sank, just that they're so top heavy that they tip over. So I'm gonna try adding these weights on the bottom to hopefully balance things out, but I guess we'll see in 3, 2, 1.
No way.
Success! I mean, it kind of bobs down a bit, but it is floating upright. We've learned from all our past mistakes to give Ed the boat of his dreams. Now I just gotta drain all the water before we can finally dock it in the city. Wait, what is that? What the?